Welcome to A Quest for Metal. Today we are doing our favourite Doom Metal debuts, and this can be Death Doom, Funeral Doom, Epic Doom, Traditional Doom, whatever Doom makes you coom. That's what we're going for on this video, and we are joined by a special guest, so I'll give it to them. It's the Forgemaster Reviews. Take it away.
What's up, guys? We are Forgemaster Metal Reviews. Thank you so much, Quest for Metal, for having us on your channel. It is a total pleasure. For those who don't know us, we are a metal review channel, but also we help new bands and bands that are trying to build and grow their fan base, develop their brands, and get heard.
That's right. We have a wide range of music experience as musicians and producers ourselves. So what we're doing is we're taking our own personal experience and we want to throw it out into use. So, and not only to allow you to help get the most out of your metal releases, but also to make the most out of your personal releases as well.
So come to our channel, hit that subscribe button, start a conversation, and we hope to see you guys.
My first pick here is Daughters, Brethren of the Black Soil. It is the best doom metal album that you've probably not yet heard of. Yeah, I'm gonna be that guy. This has been spearheaded by Swedish musician and artist Ola Blomqvist. He has brought together a team of experienced musicians to create an incredibly unique doom metal experience that is more akin to a Baldur's Gate storyline than a fucking doom metal album. Seriously, this record is about the turmoil of the lower class citizens in a medieval setting. There are no fucking heroes and wizards riding griffins. This is probably the life that you and I would have lived if we existed in the 1400s. Farmers, sailors, peasants, the lower class of the social tier. There's actually a really cool story behind this. I reached out to Ola and I said, hey man, I bought your album on Amazon. I bought the digital copy because I can't find a physical copy anywhere. And he said, I will send you a copy. What is your mailing address? So very cool. This is a great way to make yourself more human, to connect to your fans, to reach out and let them know, hey, you're not just a number. You're not just somebody giving me money. I want to make a connection with you. And it really made it not only stand out for me as one of my favorite doom metal debut albums ever, but also made me really respect the band and Ola himself. Within the first minute of hearing this debut album from this Swedish doom supergroup, I was utterly captivated. Ola has brought in Scar Symmetry vocalist Lars Palmqvist to deliver an incredible performance on Brethren of the Black Soil. There are tons of earworms. This album is brilliant. You have to check it out.
Starting off strong with that pick. So coming in at number 10 for me, I have Drown with Unsleep. And for this list, we're not going with the most popular. We're going with the ones we like the best. And for me, I adore this band and I adore this album. I think it's a fantastic album. I got into them through Subaquatious, which came out last year, high on the end of my year list. And oh my god, feels like you're just dropped into this swirling vortex, this swirling sea vortex, and you're going deeper and deeper into the ocean, kind of like the Ocean Collective's Pelagial. Fucking fantastic album. Feels kind of like that. Very bubbly, very just suffocating music, and I love it. And the debut is just as fucking good. The songs, there's more songs in there, so it's probably easier to get into for some people, but because the second album has just 2 fucking songs on, oh my god. But great atmosphere, great funeral doom this one, and if you want something, similar to an Ahab or maybe the Ocean Collector's Pelagial, give Drown a listen. Unsleep, it's awesome.
My first pick is Pallbearer, Sorrow and Extinction. This album has aged beautifully since its release, and it's still one of the most sorrowful and devastatingly heavy doom albums today. So this band didn't really, in my opinion, know the magic that they were making at the time of recording that album, merging post-rock and shoegaze elements with their low and slow version of doom. It is just absolute perfection. You can tell that these guys worship tone too. They're total pedal and gear nerds with the recording of this album, and it reflects in everything that they do since this album. The atmosphere of this record is completely unparalleled with the band name too. The record sounds like a funeral as you're climbing the tallest peaks and clenching the casket in your hands to honor the dead that you love. Everything on this record is frickin' stellar. I personally don't think that Pallbearer has nailed the magic on this album since, but I still love pretty much every record that they put out since.
This was one of the albums where we had some overlap, and I was like, man, what other debut album is incredible? Sorrow and Extinction. Perfect pick.
My next one is Temple of Void with Of Terror and Supernatural. Holy crap, this band is fantastic. I was tempted to put Hooded Menace here with their debut, but spoiler alert, I prefer every other album by Hooded Menace, so you know, if I did a sophomore album, maybe it'll creep on there, but Temple of Void, fucking hell, the debut is goddamn majestic, just like the album art. Just like the album art, you do feel like you're a zombie walking into this plague-ridden, death, doom, murky lair, and you are gonna get some slime dripped on you, and it's gonna be fucking grim. That's the atmosphere in this album, is death, doom through and through. Think similar to Hooded Menace, think similar to Autopsy, that kind of brutal sound, but slower, because we are talking about doom here. Death Doom is brutal, but slow brutal. So you're getting punched to death, but it's really slow. Really fucking slow. So if any of that makes you hard, then definitely give this one a listen. Fucking amazing artwork, amazing riffs, amazing guttural vocals. This is evil, this is doomy, and this is one of my favorites.
My next one is Rapture's Futile. Watch this channel long enough and my Rapture tattoo might come out of my skin and strangle me for talking about them so much. They were a band that came together for the love of a particular genre to put their own spin on it, and boy, they did something special. This is yet another band with decades of experience among the members. So these guys can write banging tracks and have complete control over their instruments. We've said it before and shall forever continue to say it, but the Finnish people have a certain way of approaching melancholy and sorrow that is unlike anything else. It's almost a deeper level of sorrow and connection to the winter that, for those of us who don't live next to the North Pole, we just don't understand. As the band has evolved, their sound became a bit more, dare I say it, poppy and upbeat, but still quite good material, never letting go of those introspective vibes. Futile, on the other hand, is a bleak reminder that we are all going to die and that everyone you love is already dead and you're just floating on a rock in space. Deal with it. Rapture's Futile, brilliant album.
I would have put that on my list, but you have the Rapture tattoo, so, you know, makes the most sense.
Right. Not heard that one, so I'm going to have to check that one out. But for my next one, we're going to go with one of the best, one of the biggest pioneers, Paradise Lost, with the debut Lost Paradise. Oh, yeah. This is Death Doom and its goddamn finest, evil, dark, one of the best Paradise Lost albums in my opinion. Some people say they prefer the more gothic-y stuff, they prefer the more dancey stuff, or the newer stuff, but this album is something special. Sparked a revolution, all the Death Doom albums to come from this, and holy crap, the vocals by Nick Holmes, majestic. Love those evil vocals on this album. It is something to behold. It's very nice that Paradise Lost has kind of gone full circle and gone back to Death Doom in the later albums. Love it. Obsidian, what a fucking masterpiece. But Lost Paradise is where it started. It's one of the heaviest Paradise Lost albums. It's one of the darkest, and it's one of the best. So yeah, Lost Paradise fucking deserves to be here.
Next one on my list is Trouble, Psalm 9, one of the most important doom metal albums in the traditional vein. Fight me about it, I don't care. I will go to the death over this decision. We owe it to Trouble and other bands like Black Sabbath, Witchfinder General, Cirith Ungol, Saint Vitus, and Pagan Altar for experimenting with these sounds and coming up with what doom metal is today. This album was released in friggin' 1984, way ahead of its time. The album is unparalleled in atmosphere today, and that epically heavy intro of The Tempter still gets stuck in my head. It's that good. The album artwork is even something you see today in doom metal bands trying to create that bleak, illustrative atmosphere. It's just the best. That tree in the background is, so good. Fun album to revisit in the context of doom that wasn't coined yet, and you can see how important this album was for shaping the genre. Trouble, Psalm 9.
Ooh, Psalm 9, fucking classic. Love it. Love how catchy it is as well. But my next one is Catatonia, Dance of December Souls. I'm a Catatonia fan. I love Catatonia. I won't speak too much about it because I know you guys have put it on your list as well. Fucking spoiling the video. What a mad lad. But you guys talk about it a bit better than me. I can't leave Catatonia out. Don't even care if it's overlapped. Can't leave them out. One of my favourite bands. And the early era, way more death doomy. Way more heavy. The vocals by Jonas. Oh, evil as fuck, boy. Evil as fuck. Atmospheric while being evil. I do prefer the sophomore album, but we were talking about the debut, and the debut still kicks fucking all kinds of ass. Evil, dark, heavy, a lot different to the newer Catatonia, and I love all eras of Catatonia. Don't get into a fucking war about this, okay? But I have a feeling that you guys will talk about this in a bit more in depth. So I'll leave it to you guys. But yeah, Dance of December Souls has to make it onto my list. Just fucking, it's the law.
My next pick is Mourning Beloved's Dust. This is a debut from the Irish doom metal giants. One of the things I love about doom metal is how the lyric writers can seem to take inspiration from romantic era poetry. Writers like Walt Whitman, Henry David Thoreau, Longfellow, Wordsworth, etc., etc. In an interview with Mourning Beloved bassist Adrian Butler, conducted by Metalstorm.net in 2005, he talks about the vocalist Darren Moore in his writing process, stating that Darren's lyrics, speaking from his own point of view on the same overall concept, breathe life into these experiences and also show the near-death result of overindulgence. Darren spends a lot of time writing the lyrics and pulls influences from whatever he may be reading or personal happenings in his own life. I'd like to think that Darren's reading some Walt Whitman, some Leaves of Grass, and things like that. So, Mourning Beloved, balancing droning riffs, half-tempo melodic death sections, and haunting vocal melodies, they have an uncanny ability to deliver emotionally charged doom metal while remaining interesting, captivating, and really fucking sad. Believe it or not, these guys are still killing it. I hope they put out something soon, but they are known for taking their time, which is totally okay with me. I think it's always worth it.
Mourning Beloved, amazing band. Great, I'm happy with that pick. Love me some Funeral Doom. My next pick is Epicus, Doomicus, Metallicus, and this album has to be on your list. If it's not on your list, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it fucking wrong. Classic of the genre, Candlemass, one of the best doom bands ever made. And come on, please let me die in solitude. Oh, it's so evil, I love it. It's one of the greatest songs, one of the greatest albums ever. I'm kind of tempted to put this higher now. This is 101 on how to do doom. This is 101. If someone says, what's doom metal? I'll hand them a copy of Epicus, Doomicus, Metallicus. I'll also hand them a copy of Master of Reality by Black Sabbath. And then I'll throw in some Ahab albums because I just love them. But yeah, this is a fucking classic for a reason. I don't think anyone can dispute that. I'm one of the greatest bands ever made, Candlemass, so yeah, it's got to be here. 10 out of 10 depressed mermaids.
Next on my list is Disembowelment, Transcendence into the Peripheral. This album is absolutely massive and crushing. This is an introspective record that deserves the time to sit and listen to it. This album reminds me of a dismal black and white landscape and what remains of a dead world to explore. It is so vivid. It's just amazing. This album is chilling to the core, pulls at the heartstrings as much as it does crush your soul. The impact of these songs stem from their ability to keep the long compositions interesting with melody and movements. And it bums me out that they haven't made an album since then, but honestly, they caught lightning in a bottle and I don't really think they could do any better anyway. This album is truly unique, and to be honest, I haven't heard another album quite like it since it came out. Disembowelment, Transcendence into the Peripheral, check it out.
Unbelievable pick, man. And speaking of which, we actually have a really cool video where we talk about bands that caught lightning in a bottle. Definitely, you should check that one out. There's a few doom metal bands on there.
Disembowelment is one of my faves. Did want to put it on here, but I talked about it a lot in my underrated albums vid. So yeah, I agree with that pick. I love it. My next one is Pallbearer, Sorrow and Extinction, another one that we've talked about before, but I love it. Come on, it's Sorrow and fucking Extinction. It's one of my favourite Pallbearer albums. It's one of my favourite albums in general. The sorrow in the vocals, the melancholy throughout this album, it's palpable. You can fucking taste it. That's how good this album is. I want to listen to it right now that I'm talking about it. This is a lot easier to get into than Disembowelment or some of the other picks we've picked. Mourning Beloved, this is easier to get into than any of them. But don't let that stop you, because it's not like fucking mainstream or anything. Still has hooks, but the vocals are so goddamn beautiful. I love Pallbearer. The latest album's fantastic as well, but Sorrow and Extinction, it's makes me want to fucking bury myself with joy.
As for me, In Shine's Origin. I had half a mind to throw Slumber's Fallout on this list, but I didn't think it quite fit, only because it's not only a debut, it's also a complete standalone because the band went defunct before they could do anything else. So I thought it would be appropriate to talk about Jari Lindholm in his projects after Slumber. Jari Lindholm is the Swedish guitarist and songwriter of Slumber, and he has created a new band called In Shine, and their debut record Origin is one of my picks. This was released on the Nottermacht Records subsidiary Rain Without Ends Records. If you haven't heard of them, you need to get on that if you really love your melodic doom and death. Origin is an outstanding amalgamation of everything I love about Rapture, Catatonia, Daylight Dies. While it could be seen as a spiritual successor to Slumber, I think In Shine is really onto something a bit less technical and a bit more powerful than they were with Slumber. They were joined by former Inborn Suffering vocalist Sebastian Pierre. He really brings something amazing to the table. Jari has created something majestic, yet still powerful with Origin. There's a celestial atmosphere of sorts that's boosted by the keyboard arrangements. There's a wide variety of vocals that really puts these guys in their composition on a totally different level. These guys are fantastic riff writers, fantastic songwriters. This is an instant classic for what I would like to consider to be a new wave of Swedish melodic doom death metal. Check this one out if you haven't.
Jari Lindholm's solo album is also fantastic.
Trajectories, great album.
Check that one out.
Sexy pick, but my next one is Evoken, Embrace the Emptiness. Funeral Doom at its darkest, most depressing. You know from the album cover this is going to be a dreary ride, and oh boy, sit down, strap your bum in, because you're going to start crying. This is that kind of album. It is Funeral Doom, so it's on the longer side of things, and I just did an Evoken ranking. I love this album, I love the sound of it. It is very classic Funeral Doom. Kind of sound like Forgemaster and those kind of bands, Skepticism, that kind of thick layer of fog surrounding the production. I love it. I love all the songs on here. 17 minutes of bliss, creepy, haunting music. That sounds good to your ear holes. Definitely give Evoken a listen and definitely start with Embrace the Emptiness.
Next on my list is Catatonia, Dance of December Souls. Catatonia have evolved a ton over their career, but their first record is an absolutely fantastic, somber doom metal release. Their latest heavy progressive take on the doom metal genre is something that's pretty special, but their early albums, notably Dance of December Souls, show fantastic musicianship in their roots of melodic death doom, featuring nearly all harsh vocals. Taking songwriting inspiration from death and black metal with their form of melodic doom added a deep sense of coldness to the record that makes me return time and time again, and it's actually been on many playlists that have to do with the winter of ours. Guitar melodies on this record are addictive, amazingly constructed, and the vocals are punishing and agonizing. There's a ton of layers to the songs, something they continue in their songwriting still. I love this record. Sounds like a cold, dreary tomb to me with no gods and no hope. Absolutely amazing music for a snowtime walk.
My next one is Skepticism with Stormcrow Fleet. Yep, Stormcrow Fleet. I've been playing this over and over again. This is Funeral Doom again, but a lot different to Evoken. Still depressing, but this is more epic. And not in the sense of epic doom, but like the scale of the music sounds more epic. Like church organs almost sounding like it kind of feels like you're sat in a cathedral listening to this band when they're playing and the angels are crying, whereas Evoken's more like you're in a fucking graveyard and the dead are about to grab you. This is more like you're in a grand cathedral like Anne Londo or some shit and the archers have fucking got their aim on you and everyone's weeping. It's like that. The vocal's so deep and it'll put hair on your chest, put some hair on your balls. This is a Funeral Doom band unlike any others you've heard. So if you want some Funeral Doom with a bit of a shiny polish, then this is the band and album for you. Because it's fucking majestic.
Love that album, and I love your next pick. It's one of my favorites. Talk about one of my favorite bands and your pick.
I'm surprised you didn't put this one on your list.
I know.
October Tide, Rain Without End. You cannot have a best doom metal debut album list without October Tide. These are facts. I think it's like the fifth law of physics, actually. This particular album is the only album in their discography to feature Jonas Renks of Catatonia on vocals. The atmosphere on this record sounds like a dreary, rainy day, and it's so oddly mellowing and therapeutic and perfect for like a cozy Sunday morning while it's pouring outside and you have your cereal. I've done that plenty of times. Full of melody, extremely melancholic, and you can get lost for days in the sadness of this record. There's a great balance here of the ethereal and slow atmosphere of Dance of December Souls era Catatonia, mixed with more upbeat and melodic death-driven Brave Murder Day stuff. But it's interesting to see the Catatonia progression versus the October Tide progression, as Catatonia have delved into heavy progressive metal territory while October Tide continue to get more and more dark with melodic death metal overtones. You have to check this album out if you haven't heard it. If you like your death metal and your doom metal on the melodic and slow side, you can't miss.
Ah, great album, great band, but that's not on my list. I prefer Catatonia. That's why Catatonia is on my list and this one isn't. I do love it though. It is great, but Jonas is, I love his clean singing, so I really love fucking Catatonia. I really do. October Tide's a great album though, so you definitely check it out. These guys know their shit. My number 2 and number 1, because they had a joint one. My number 2 I've been playing a fucking lot recently, and it's Swallow the Sun, which is one of my favourite bands of all time, with The Morning Never Came. Holy crap, this might be my favourite album by them now. Deadly Nightshade. Oh, that fucking melody, that evil melody, and the again and again and again. Dun 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 dun. Holy fucking shit, it's amazing. Through Her Silvery Body. Mwah. And the title track to end it off. This album is pure fucking perfection. 10 out of 10. All the other ones were great. This is a fucking 10. I adore this album. This is more melodic death doom, catchy parts. It's not melodic death metal, like some people said. So whoever said that can fucking stick this finger right up the fucking ass. This is melodic death doom. It's death fucking doom. Oh my god, the melodies on here. Oh, they're so fucking good. The vocals, growling, guttural, fucking beautiful. I love the vocals with Swallow the Sun, and this is one of the best. And they started out strong, and they just keep getting strong. Keep staying strong. They're not getting stronger, but they're staying strong all throughout their career. I adore this album. This album's a must listen to any doom metal fan. Swallow the Sun is underrated as hell, so go give them a listen. So now it comes down to it. My number 1, the best debut album from a doom metal band. You already know what it fucking is if you know my channel. Ahab, Call of the Wretched Sea. Yes, this in my top 3 bands of all time. This album is a concept album regarding Moby Dick. I love these whale albums like Leviathan and From Mars to Sirius, and this is the King of the Castle. This is better than the both of them. The fucking creaks of the boats in the songs, the low growls when he shouts, "Whale ahead!" Oh my god. Hairs standing up on end. Goosebumps. It's beautiful. The melodies, the growls, the atmosphere, thick as fuck, mate. Yeah, Call of the Wretched Sea, it's one of my favourite albums of all time. It's one of the best albums of all time, so easily it's going to be top on my doom metal debuts. And that does it. Thank you again to Forgemaster Reviews for coming on the channel. Say bye-bye now.
Thanks so much to Quest for Metal for having us on the show. We really appreciate it. Like, follow, and subscribe. Follow Questy. He's a great dude. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys soon.
Take care.
So yeah, thanks again for coming on the channel. We hope to collab again soon. Maybe on a Zoom call this time, because we were going to do Zoom this time, but I fucking overslept. Oops. So yeah, maybe next time we'll do it properly. So I want you guys to pop it down below. What's your favourite doom metal debuts of all time? Let me know, and we'll see you again on another Quest for Metal.